slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping.
Hi guys, I'm Rick. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm making beef stew in my Elite 6.5 quart infinity cooker. Before I get started, I'd like to give a shout out to a special little boy that I found here on YouTube. His name is Danny, and in October of 2013 he was diagnosed with cancer in his left kidney. But since then he's cancer free and he made a full recovery, which is awesome. So I'd like you to check out his channel that him and his parents put together. It's called Tadas, and they have lots of fun things on there, fun videos and some cooking videos. And Danny, you're a cool kid, you're awesome, and this shout out's for you because I think you're great. So guys, check out his channel. I'll put a link in the description bar in the bottom there, and show some love and subscribe and all that good stuff. Thank you. Alright, I'm starting out. I have my Elite Infinity Cooker warming up. It's on the saute setting, which is 390 by default. I'm going to leave it at the default setting at 390. Now I'm going to put a little bit of vegetable oil in there. I'd say it's about 4 tablespoons. And I have a roughly 1.5 pound top brown steak here that I cut up and I dried and I dipped in, coated in flour that has salt and pepper in it. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in my grease here, in my oil, and brown my beef cubes. Alright, now that my beef is pretty well browned, I have 1 medium to large onion here that I diced up. I'm Mad Daddying over the beef. And I'm going to sweat this onion out some and get it cooked through. And they'll help season each other. And this saute feature, let me tell you, once it gets going, look out. Now I'm going to hit this whole work with some salt and pepper just a little bit. Alright, now I'm going to let that go for a little bit so that there's a chance for those onions to get translucent and cook through. Alright, now that my onions have had a little while to fry in there with the beef and get nice and translucent, I'm going to add in a 4-cup box of beef broth. And remember my little tip, put a hole in the top of the carton and it pours right out for you, because if you don't, then you get this action there, the chugging. Alright, now that I have my 4 cups of beef broth in there, I'm also going to throw in 2 beef bouillon cubes. Make sure you get all that granulated bouillon there in the package, in the wrapper, because that's goodness we don't want to waste. Alright, now I have 6 medium potatoes here that I diced up and 4 cups of water. I'm going to dump that in water and all. And I have a 15-ounce can of peas that I drained. They're going in there. You can also use frozen peas and carrots if you like. I just thought I'd try it this way for a change. And I have a 15-ounce can of sliced carrots that I drained. I'm dumping those in there. Let me stir that around. It's going to look like some sort of stew, guys. And I'm going to put a little celery seed in here. About a half a teaspoon. A little more pepper. And a little more salt. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and set this on bake. Because it has a stew feature, but the stew is just too slow cooking. I don't have time today. So I'm going to set this on bake. And it defaults at 325. We'll leave it there. And we're going to get that boiling, and then I'll adjust the seasonings as needed. Alright, now that this came up to a boil, I tasted it. I'm going to throw 2 more beef bouillon cubes in here, because I want this to have a good, rich beef flavor. Let me give that a stir. And I will be thickening this up then, because it's pretty much just beef soup right now. Alright, now that I have that in there, I'm going to throw a little more of that celery seed in. A little more pepper. And once my potatoes start to cook through, then I'm going to put a flour water slurry in here to thicken this up, but I don't want to put it in yet. I want to wait till my potatoes start to get tender or soft. Let me give this a taste, and I hope you don't mind if I double dip. Yeah, that's tasting pretty good. I'm going to let that cook like that for a while until those potatoes start to get tender, and then I'll be back. Alright, I went ahead and checked and my potatoes are halfway cooked. Now before I added my flour water slurry, I have some tomato paste here. I'm going to put a little bit in here, about 2 tablespoons, and we'll give that a taste. This will give it a nice rounded out flavor. And when you make beef soups or beef stews, when you put tomato in it, it just gives it that good homemade flavor. So I'm going to stir this up well, and I'm going to give this a taste and see if that's good or if we need to add a little more in there. And like I said, if you're interested in one of these infinity cookers, they sell on HSN Home Shopping Network for $100. But I got this one at Wayfair.com for under $70. It was like $68 or $65. It's not as high end or as high quality as the Ninja. I like the Ninja more, but this is a good cooker for under $70. So if you're interested, definitely check it out. Alright, now I'm going to taste this and see where we're at with that tomato paste. That's tasting good, but I'm going to add a little more in there. And as you can see, that tomato paste is even starting to thicken up this stew. So I'm going to add about another tablespoon. And I'm going to stop there because I don't want this to taste like tomato soup or tomato sauce. I'm going to stir this around good till this here dissolves in there so we don't have a big clump. Somebody bites into a big clump of tomato paste when they're eating their stew. And I might add a little more salt in this. I have to double check it. But it's leaning in that direction. Let me just dissolve that tomato paste in there good. Alright, let me give that a taste for salt. Yeah, I'm going to add a little more salt in there. And I've had people make comments that I'm killing myself with all the salt I use and all that good stuff. But I don't make my food super salty. I just like it spicy, and you only live once, so I would rather live a year or two less and enjoy good food than live a year or two longer and eat cardboard, if you know what I mean. Alright, let me give this a taste and see where we're at in salt. Okay, that's tasting good. Now I have a flour water slurry here. I already pre-strained it through a sieve, and I'm going to stir this in slowly. And I'm not going to use all of it. I'm just going to stir it in until this hits the right consistency. And it will thicken up as it finishes cooking. And already it's starting to get nice and thick on me. And the reason I'm using flour water over cornstarch is because cornstarch will give you that translucent look, like a sauce or something, or a glaze. And I want to have it have the good stew look, gravy look. Alright, I think I'm going to let it go at that. Now, one more thing I'm going to finish this off with before I let it finish cooking is I'm going to add a little bit of kitchen bouquet in here. Like I said yesterday, what kitchen bouquet is a brownie sauce, and it has a seasoning in it, sort of like a vegetable flavor. And this will make this nice and rich and brown. I'm just going to add a little bit in there. Now, that there was about a teaspoon. I'm going to add a little more. And I'm going to reduce my heat down to the lowest setting on this, which I think is 250. I might even put it on the stew setting, which will be a lower setting, because this is going to start splashing, and I don't want it splashing all over the place. Okay, that's the color where I want my stew, because that's good beef stew color. All right, now you got to turn this off to reset it. So I'm going to set it on a stew setting, and we don't need to let it go for that hour, but we'll leave it on there because that's going to cook at a lower temperature. And I'll keep an eye on this and check those potatoes. Alright, my beef stew is done. It's nice and thick, as you can see. It went for an additional 5 more minutes. The potatoes are done. Everything's good to go. So let's go ahead and serve up a bowl and see what we got. Remember, guys, check out Danny's channel, because him and his parents work hard to make it super cool, and he's a super cool kid. Alright, there you have it. Homemade beef stew in the Elite Infinity Cooker. Give this a try. I think you'll like it. And until next time, I'll see ya.